to season 6 of the LOGJAM. Can you believe it, Darren?
Yeah, this is crazy, man. The fact that we've been able to have the energy to keep it going this long and the consistency, it's been a lot of fun. Hope you guys are having fun. But welcome to season 6 of the LOGJAM. So excited to get into it.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have you back. Congratulations. I know a lot's going on your side of the world. Congratulations on all of that, man. I cannot wait to get started with the season 6. The 2023 League of Gentlemen season has commenced.
Yeah, and again, thanks for everybody making the draft. That was a lot of fun. Andrew, thanks for running the board. Gary, thanks for getting the place, together, obviously. Next
Tom,
year.
thanks for timing.
Yes, all the above.
And everybody, yeah, thanks for being there. Thanks for listening, going through the time. Benner, thanks for staying as long as you did.
Yep.
It was fantastic. We're happy to have you there. Without any further ado, let's get into card stock this season. What do we think of the Jonathan Gannon era so far?
Oh yeah, well, for me, it's still a small sample size. I think Monty Fort we have to bring into the conversation as well, and I really did like the way he negotiated his first draft. And we've had 1 week with not really a starting quarterback that, I'm going to reserve judgment on Gannon. Hopefully we don't have to fire the Gannon,
Absolutely. Nobody wants to fire the Gannon. We promise not to get that trending like maybe we did over the cliff and some things. I'm just happy to have an absolute new start to a defense that looked respectable, probably exceeded my expectations.
Oh, I think for sure.
An offense that was predictably stuck in the mud.
Yeah, and does it get any better this week? Playing that New York Giant defense, which is really stout against the run. And I don't know. I'm actively kind of, hoping things go the way they go and things just work out and we end up with some good picks next year.
I mean, that's what this season looked like. I think another week to prepare for Dobbs is going to mean something.
Sure.
We did have a new segment this year, the Quick Quiz. Darren, Joshua Dobbs had been with the Arizona Cardinals before the season for 2.5 hours, days, minutes, or weeks.
Weeks.
Actually, the answer we're looking for is minutes. That's what it felt like. He hadn't really gelled with the offense, I think, so far, and
no.
I think it showed. I think there should be some growth. I don't know how high expectations can possibly be.
Yeah, I think, it's just interesting because they make this, obviously they're familiar with this kid, right? That's why they bring him in. They tried to trade for him in the offseason. It didn't work out, but they obviously like this guy. Colt McCoy is what I just want to really quickly talk about, right?
Sure.
So we let Colt McCoy go. I think if you watched the games last year or whatever, Colt McCoy was not making a lot of money and was able to manage football games. So I think by them making this decision, Dobbs is going to be that step up. We just have to give him a little bit of time to get acclimated to the field, the building.
I think that's important, and that's thank you, Quick Trip, for dropping that in. We do have to monitor expectations in a sense. We had caught wind of some momentum behind a collapse for Caleb kind of movement. Where do you stand there?
I'm full game for that, and I'm actively cheering for the Cardinals to have a lot of fun, stay healthy.
I hope both teams have fun.
I hope they get lollipops after the game. All those things, health is the main concern. But I'm not cheering for a lot of wins this year. I'm cheering for us and the Texans to have the least amount of wins, so that we can. I really want Marvin Harrison Jr. at whatever position, obviously not number 1, but to have the ability to collapse for Caleb or,
crummy for Caleb.
Exactly.
Crappy for Caleb.
All the above. And maybe we trade the pick if we don't. If Kyler looks good, maybe we get 3 first rounds.
Trade the pick. We have 2 picks. We're also, the cool thing is we are also rooting for Houston's demise.
Yes.
So we have the value of those picks just increases as the year goes on. I will say this, I am rooting for the Cardinals to win every game. My confidence level that the Cardinals can win any of the games in front of them is not incredibly high.
No. I just don't want to end up, 8 and 9.
Oh, no.
And pick.
Hey, man.
We're in a rebuild.
I can say
rebuild, so let's whatever you
8 and 9 is absolutely the top possible end of outcomes for this team. I I get it. It hurts our pick. If as long as Houston's shitty, I'll take 8 and 9. I'd love that way more than 0-17. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Right.
But it does. Like we don't
There's only
know.
one team, I believe, still that.
The one thing I am rooting for is if it gets out of hand, I would like to see Buddha in bubble wrap. I would like them to literally take him off the field, wrap him, let him coach, let him not pay him all of the dollars, sign him for more dollars next year, let him teach these guys from the sidelines without being in danger of breaking something massive that could be a detriment to a career or our season. Like, he is that important. Like, why have him playing this year? I mean, I get it. He's a competitor. He's not going to want to get off the field. He's going to play 17 games.
At the end of the year, 3 games left, 2 games left, something like that. Buddha is.
I don't think he will, man. I think Buddha wants to play 17 fucking games. That's why he's in the league, and that's why we love him. That's why I named my fucking dog after him. Yeah. He's that kind of guy. I hope. That's my hope more than hope.
Well, he does have to be out there in order to actually teach those guys and show them the other than practice, right? But I think the bubble wrap comes week 16.
Okay, well, I'm hoping for week 4, week 8. Whenever we know it's out of hand, please. I'm not asking for any kind of competitive. I love it. I love everything that happened this weekend, or at least expected it. I was happy with.
He's got to be on the field. You got to sell the jersey.
That brings us to the recap of the offseason. What was possibly the most tumultuous and crazy offseason in the history of the league. I don't know. I don't even know how to discuss it.
Are you talking about last year's like?
This is a weather alert from the National Weather Service. If you're in the following counties, Coconino, Pinal, Cochise, Yavapai, you have a severe storm warning, hurricane force winds, flood warning. If you're in the following counties, Maricopa, don't worry, the weather is quite pleasant.
I mean, honestly, I think you wrapped it up as succinctly as possible. I don't know what else we could possibly say about that. That gets us to the games. We're going to start right there with Zoros and Merci, what was the closest game of the week. Maybe not that great, like scoring-wise, but the Zoros take care of Merci 101-97.
Yeah, this was the closest game of the week, but obviously I would say probably not the most entertaining as far as points go, right? I mean, to get a win at 101, that's a steal for Zoros. Steve's going to be putting out more than 97 points. It was just kind of a both down week for both of them. But to get a steal this early with a 101-point win, that is a huge thing for the Zoros. I think we'll look back at this and say, you know, if he makes playoffs, this might be a big win.
It is what we believe to be a record for the entire 15 years of our league. We think it's for sure a record for the 5 years of the LOGJAM era.
Oh, yeah.
0 players in this game scored 20 points. 0 players on either team scored 20 points. I don't think it's ever happened. Unfortunately, our statistician position hasn't been funded yet. We are looking for more sponsors. If you want to sponsor the LOGJAM, please text Mike Oxenspire or Gmail, Mike Oxenspire at gmail.com.
But I believe you. We did. It's not that we don't have a research department, but Tom and I do the research. We looked at like 4 games from the past, and it's totally accurate.
It's a mostly true stat for sure. Zoros steady but unspectacular. Devonta Smith 17. The Jacksonville defense 17. A nice start.
You know.
On the Merci side, in a losing effort, Garrett Williams with that catch was incredible. 14.
One of the best catches you'll ever see, I think.
Fields leads with 16, maybe less than you were expecting. Josh Elliott, your kicker, got 15. That's a big number in a loss, I guess.
Yeah, and Josh Elliott's a big commodity out there. So
there are some assets that weren't in the starting lineup there. In the game number 2, the champions returning defending champions Scoregasms 146 over the Pimps 95.
Yeah, and good for Gary. His team really put up a 146 is a big number. We tried to compete, we just didn't get a lot of it. But for him, like Christian McCaffrey, anytime you see that guy, I thought for a while we were going to hold him down, and then just boom, boom, boom. So congratulations, Gary.
Yeah.
A good win. I think it's 2 in a row now against me.
Possibly. We'll check with the statistician in the story when they get in. Run CMC walks this way to 29. Pat Mahomes with 23. Welcome to the Kyle Pitts experience. I will say 6.4 out of your tight end. Expect some movement there from the scoregasms. In the next game, the Poway Titans with the high score of the week, 163 over the Fury 110.
Chris here, again, there's too much Bengal loaded, right? So we're for the
T. Higgins with a zero burger.
And Poway is just we're going to talk about the bench. I'm sure you're going to bring it up, but loaded this year.
Yeah.
But this is week 1. But as far as performance, like you're not going to get better starting team and then bench to follow. Like
I know
trades to.
I know we addressed it at the beginning of the pod, but the Poway the Poway Keepers are going to be the story of this year, no question. Tyreek with the 50 burger. Eckler, a monster at 29. Olave with 22.
And, other than the Fury's defense, there wasn't a lot, there wasn't really a lot to talk about there.
Cousins at 24 is a nice start. Like, I thought Joe Burrow was going to be a Fury for a long time. It's funny that...
Well, Travis Kelce is a Fury for a long time.
But
and when you don't have...
Didn't get the start. That is a big part.
Right, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
The Fury... One thing I know about the Fury over the last, Chris feels like he's been in the league 15 years or so. I mean, since this, so they score points.
That is a Fury. They always do.
Yes.
110 is a lower number for them, but even in a loss, I think it was possibly the highest. Yeah, they're right there at the beginning of that. I will note, just for posterity, that Poway bench, Ayuk, Tua, Michael Pittman. I think we feel on the LOGJAM set that's a force to be contended with this year.
It is a force. I mean, I guess if you're going to pick it all, you'd say, well, Tua is a second quarterback, and quarterbacks should score 20 points on your bench or whatever. But
I don't know if it's a decision next week. I mean, if
that's what it's going to come down to,
right? Until the concussion happens,
or the trade, like I just said, or he's got so much value. Yeah. We'll see how Poway plays it out.
All right, game number 4, the Avengers 155 over somewhat hapless daddy 101.
Well, and somewhat that's pretty harsh. It just didn't show up week 1. It just didn't show up week 1. Justin Herbert probably his biggest performer, and that's his quarterback. So of course you're going to expect that out of him. He did not play Mike Williams. No, he did play Mike Williams.
The one that made it through the weekend.
Yeah, the live one.
Yeah, but he almost didn't make it through the weekend because he was on the field for a while too. Came out, did the concussion test. Yeah. Bad weekend overall for Mike Williams.
What I'm just saying is I'm shocked that he played him.
On the Avengers side, the Cowboys D. There you go. Cowboys D 40 burger. You can't expect that every week, but I'll take it. That was pretty much, in fairness to Daddy, it lasted until the very, first quarter of Monday night before it was gone. Diggs, JJ, what's expected. The rest of the bench, pretty pedestrian from an Avengers team.
Agreed. And again, like the Fury, the Avengers are a team that we know score points. It didn't happen in a number of areas, but it happened where it always happens from the Avengers, which is Diggs, Jefferson, for sure. And then, the defensive play was just 42 points from a defense. That's a crazy number for a defense.
Yeah, with what's his name?
2 touchdowns.
Zach Wilson coming in now next week. We'll see what happens. I think that's it, right?
Yeah.
Next game, Sin gets to the win column, 136 over Young NC with the low score of the week and the fine 87.
And that 136 mark this week is above what our normal, Mendoza line or median average or whatever you want to say. But 136 traditionally is about right there. I think this week was probably more like 118 or 120 because there were so many of us that were horrible. But congratulations on the win, Sin.
Hey man, AJ.
Go ahead. AJ Green.
AJ Green. Turn around.
It still kills me.
The other AJ in Green Bay paces the way with 27. Worth noting the Pollard kind of move that had been, chastised for a couple of years, really paying off. Maybe some kind of in the future holding that this team is building towards this year.
It's signs that Corey is a planner, a master planner, I think.
It is. I don't have any idea what that says, so we're going to
Scuttlebutt.
On the young side, B-Rob, really the only thing that happens there. Pacheco and Pierre combined for 16. I wish I knew what that said. It's okay. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was right there.
Okay, perfect. Young and Fused falls to Sin 136.87.
Yeah, that wraps up the week one.
Absolutely.
As far as winners and losers.
It does. A quick transition. We were going to throw out some other names. Collabs for Caleb clearly is the leader in the clubhouse right now.
Okay, gotcha.
But we're probably going to put up a league poll. What do we want to call it? There's a lot of things that are out there. It's our pick. It's Houston's pick. It's a player that may or may not enter the draft according to his father or his agent's brother or whoever leaked that story. Which, who gives a fuck, man? Like, there are so many talented players in college football. We get any two of the top 5 picks. Yeah. I'm ecstatic to have them and add them to this team. Certainly, do we need a quarterback? Yeah.
But okay, real quick. There's a reason I brought up trade the pick.
Sure.
Okay, is this. Caleb Williams might not want to play for the Arizona Cardinals.
Right.
Okay, so if you have the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick.
Caleb, who do you want to play for?
Right, who do you want to play for? That's where you go. If you're the Cardinals, you go, hey, we have the number 1 pick. You don't want to sign with us? We get it. Where do you want to go? Well, I'd like to go to Vegas. I'd like to go to, wherever. Sure. And then you talk to those teams and
hey man,
you pit the four against themselves. You get your 2-3 first-round picks, and you build the team. That's what I was saying earlier. Build the team if he doesn't want to sign.
If you want to take a first, second, third-round quarterback this year, and then put some extra next year, there's a lot of things that can happen. That's why I'm not rooting for the collapse entirely, but we want to be prepared for it if it happens. So we're going to throw up on the league poll. We started with crummy for Caleb. There is crappy for Caleb. We want to include all of it. So the worst for Williams, possibly wretched for Williams. There was calamitous for Caleb. There was terrible for a Trojan. There was contemptible for Caleb. There was ugly for USC. And possibly the one I'm going to get behind, there was woebegone for Williams.
Woebegone.
I don't know. You tell us. Text Mike Oxenfire. Email mikeoxenfire@gmail.com. Tell me what you think. If you are in the league, we're going to put up a league poll as soon as this airs on Wednesday night. And we will be ready to go.
Yeah.
So
let's do some predictions.
That gets us to next week's games. I am really excited to get to week 2 of the season. We are going to start with 2 1-0 teams. The Sin 1-0, traveling to Windy City, also 1-0.
Gary's firepower. This for me is Gary. Gary at home is gonna go to 2-0.
Taking the points on the road sometimes is dangerous early in fantasy football. I just think for a number of reasons, this is the year that the Sin find themselves into more wins than losses. Whether it be kind of close to, didn't put up a massive score this week, but it was enough. And I think it's a team that might produce. If Windy City, guy or two has an off game, it can go either way. So
it definitely can.
I'm going to go with the Sin on this one. Game number 2, the Avengers 1-0, travel to the other 1-0 team, the Zorros. A couple of big matchups this week. In this one, I think it's obvious. I will pick first here. I am terrified of a Devonta Smith revenge game.
Yeah, because you traded him.
Yeah, it was a snap decision to the draft. I am confident still that Cooper Kupp will eventually come back and be worth what happened. Sure. But the possibility remains that I regret the Devonta Smith departure.
Well, hopefully it's not this week. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's not this week.
Hopefully. Who do you like? I like the Zorros with the points for sure.
I will say that, the Zorros at home. Avengers Zorro matchup again to me historically immediately says 187 to 205. It does. It says 187 to 205.
Arena football, possibly.
It's fucking these games are crazy. There's going to be a lot of points on both sides of the board. If we're picking against the spread, I would take the Zorros. But since we're going to just pick straight up, I'm going to take the Avengers.
Picking straight up, sure. All right, no problem. Game number 3, this is you going first. This is the final 1-0 team, high points from last week, the Poway Titans, traveling to North Phoenix to take on Who's Your Daddy at 0-1.
After last week, I think Daddy is definitely going to bounce back from his 101 performance. That's not going to be his normal performance. But I think even if he puts up 135, he loses by 40 here. Because, you know, Billy's, you're right. The big question comes down to maybe in this game, what quarterback does Billy start? Like that.
Can you imagine? I mean, it's a great problem to have, but a Lamar Jackson 6 and a Tua 30, like, are there?
The advantage is you play the matchups, right? The advantage is you play the matchups. The disadvantage is where you kick yourself every week because you played the wrong guy, and then, you know.
Man, those can be lonely times. You can feel like the loser. I know what it feels like to start the wrong guy, as you have seen in the past and this week.
I did it quite often last week.
So who are you taking, Power or Daddy?
I'm going to take Daddy with the points.
Okay, so this one's going to be with the spread.
Well, your
no
game is off the books.
No problem. I'm going to pick outright. I'll pick money line the Powie Titans to begin be probably at or near the absolute tops of the standings at 2-0. Your mom spent traveling to South Scottsdale to meet Merci Beaucoup. Both teams 0-1. I'm going to start here. Neither team performed well. I think maybe I just have a hint more optimism on the Merci side with more kind of ranges of options. I think I'm going to, let's see, your guys favored Merci plus the points. I'll take Merci and the points here.
I agree there. I think that the Vegas odds makers with this points is a little bit out of control.
As we have it on Wednesday night is 15. It could jump a little higher than that.
I think
if that gets to 17, lay the more.
I think 7 is where this should be. I really do. So I'm going to take Merci plus the 15.
All right, wild things can happen in fantasy football. There is one more game on this week's schedule. The Fury 0-1, traveling at Young and Confused 0-1.
The Fury, as far as the Vegas line I saw, is -16. You know, Young and the Confused is due. I just feel like he's due. But the Fury is again a point scoring machine. So, am I willing to give 16? Yes, I am.
Wow, I want to lie there too. I think that point spread is too big. I think this Young team is built better than it performed last week. Fury, like you said, always capable of big weeks. I just think there's a couple of questions to be answered there. I will take Young and Confused here.
Plus the 16. Okay.
Yeah, we'll take the points there for sure. That brings us to one of the favorite mailbag segments, Mike Oxenfire. Email us your questions at mikeoxenfire@gmail.com. We don't have a sponsor for this segment yet. Again, please, man, jump at us in the comments, DM us.
I'll say this. We put this up all the time, right?
Yeah.
Well, it feels like we do. We don't really get a lot of emails from you guys, which is totally cool. But the weird thing is we do get emails. So I don't know if we're being shared around, but they're all relevant.
They're all relevant. We got a number this week. Thematically, they kind of lined up. There was the viewing public, I guess, had a common theme. The one we got probably heard most often, Mike, you never posted the hour-long championship recap special you advertised in the offseason. When will that be released? That comes from Perry Palestinianstein in Tempe. We hope to get to those. The questions that we hit, what were the other options?
We also have one that came in that said, hey, are you ever going to do a pod again? Well,
that came from Jimmy Pinkberry.
Obviously.
One was Cuando está el LOGJAM Hombres? That was from Joel Samanes.
I have one that says, are you guys okay? From Willie Von Allister.
Willie Von Allister texted, hey bros, miss the jam bros, from Cleve Cockner. So a number of people text with that same thing, and the answer is this.
It's just
we're
nice
back.
that we're reaching out to other people, and you know what I mean. We're reaching the public, and we are back.
Feels good. Feels good to have you guys back for a pod. Certainly some first week jitters on ours, but the real answer is we spent a lot of time this offseason. We're doing a 2-hour deep dive into the offseason, into the championship run, into what was the most tumultuous and roller coaster version. We think the documentary is really going to match up something that you might see in con or film festivals down the road.
I think the nice part about it is like we went back to where we were cutting things in, so that's like us. We've been shooting not live, but like one stream now for a little while, and we went back to like mixing things in with.
We should be able to weave a story. We think it's going to be funny. We think it's going to be poignant.
Filming.
We think it's going to hit a lot of your emotions. So that will be out soon. We can't wait to release it. We're putting the finishing touches on that. But man, it is great to be back for season 6 of the LOGJAM. Darren, thanks for making it. Tommy, thanks for working the 1s and 2s.
Tommy shots.
Absolutely, baby. Here we go again. Play my part.
Decent there. I'm trying to get a little bit in there because.
I'll take her.